And now, over the next few days, of course, after polling ends today and the voting begins, all attention will go to the National Results Operations Center. That's the National ROC in Pretoria, Kotswane. Faith Mangope is joining us now from the ROC. Good afternoon, Faith. I wonder what the activity is like there currently. We saw some party leaders earlier there on the floor, and JJ interviewed one of them. In that case was the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. I wonder what's the latest you can tell us.
Absolutely. Good afternoon to you, Bradan. It certainly is a hub of activity here at the IEC National Results Operations Center in Tshwane. We are obviously looking at those various political parties descending on the ROC just to give us their perspectives just around how voter turnout is going, how the voting process has been going, particularly in the various stations. I mean, it's been covered throughout the morning around some of the glitches that the morning's proceedings right into noon started with. Some of these voting stations not opening on time, issues around the ballot papers being short in some of the municipalities as well as some of the voting stations. So it really is. We're going to be seeing a hive of activity with various political parties just descending here at the IEC's National Results Operations Center, just giving us their perspective in terms of exactly what they make of the 2021 local government elections. And indeed, as you mentioned, that of course I'm not alone at the ROC. I am with my colleague JJ Taban, who's also going to be moving around and speaking to the various political parties as well as their leader representatives. JJ, I do know that it's been an absolutely busy day for you as well. Various political parties deliberating with you, sharing some insights with you just around how they've fared or how they believe this morning into this afternoon's voting process has fared. What have been some of the insights that have been shared by some of these party leaders as they have conversation with you throughout the day?
Absolutely, Faith, and good afternoon to you. It's early days. We still have a couple of hours to go to voting. So, of course, the political parties are doing last-minute campaign even when they are talking to us here. But all of them very, very confident. I was talking earlier on to the Deputy Secretary General of the ANC. They particularly talked about Tshwane, that they think that they are way ahead. You would know that last week there was a survey that said, in fact, they are neck-to-neck with DA and Action SA. And, Tshwane may be for the taking or may be a very, very what you call a hung municipality. So, of course, at this time, it's still all speculation, but all the parties very, very confident. I was talking to the DA earlier, and I'll be talking a little bit now to the mayoral candidate in Johannesburg, Dr. Mpho Phalatse, also feeling very confident that they seem to be ahead, at least from what their party agents are telling them, and so on, Faith. So. Still early days, not too many of the leaders have arrived here. I did speak to the Reverend Mishwe, who used that time to say that the IEC has a big question mark over its integrity, especially in KZN, where a box full of ballots, Faith, was found, marked already early this morning. And these are some of the things we don't want to hear. My sense is that where there were problems, it's really anecdotal stuff. And I think overall, it seems like there has been a very smooth voting process. I voted myself this morning in Midrand. I hope you have your little ink there, Faith.
I've got my little. I will have my little ink later on this evening.
Otherwise, I will divorce you completely.
No, look, as you're mentioning about some of the issues that have been stipulated, and in a moment I know that you're going to have this conversation with the DA mayoral candidate Mpho Phalatse about this. Yeah. But one thing that's also been mentioned around spatial voting is persons with disabilities, saying that they've not been given the free and fair opportunity to cast their votes. Furthermore to that, saying that issues around how the distribution and as well as the availability of this universal template, right, the universal ballot template that has not been made available at all voting stations. Furthermore to that, some of the officials not even knowing about this universal ballot template as well. So it says something about a significant portion of our population feeling marginalized at this point, not being able to exercise their constitutional right, JJ, to vote.
Look, Faith, I think, and I hope I'm right to say it's anecdotal stuff, right? In that the special votes seem to have gone very well, and one assumes that within the special votes there would have been people with disabilities and so on, So I hope that that's not widespread, and then wherever there are problems, nobody can be disenfranchised, Faith.
Yeah, and I know that you've got the DA mayoral candidate. What is she saying?
All right, let's talk to Dr. Mpho Phalatse. Dr. Mpho, thank you for talking to us. How is it going? How are you feeling a few hours before polls close? Are you still that confident that you will make it?
Absolutely, yes. So I've been doing oversight. I started at my own polling station in the morning. I voted, and then I went to visit a few stations to look at what's happening there. The queues are long, very long. There's hardly any parking. There are, of course, challenges on the IEC side, but just to see that people have come out to vote for me is very encouraging, because we were concerned looking at what happened in 2016 with people having stayed away. We were concerned about the same thing happening now, but people have really experienced so much trouble in their own personal spaces, in their homes, in their workplaces. I think now people realize it's do or die. They have to make a choice today as to the kind of life they're going to live for the next 5 years.
You satisfied with the turnout? Does a high voter turnout in terms of your own polling and your own assessment good for the DA?
Very good for the DA. I mean, we started in DA strong areas, but we also went to Soweto, where, again, the queues are long. The people in Soweto are tired. They want change. So we're expecting a different turnout in terms of where the votes will go to in Soweto. We've had people visiting our DA table. I specifically asked our activists, are people coming to our table? And they are, which shows an interest in what the DA has to offer. I've spent a lot of time in Soweto during the campaign, and I've really been in touch with the people of Soweto to give them our offer as the DA, particularly around the electricity issue, which is one of the highest priorities in Soweto right now. So we're excited to see what the voter outcome will be like.
A few hours to the polls. If there's someone who's still on the fence, right, they're watching us now, what would you say to them to change them, to make them stand up now and go to the voting booth before 9 o'clock?
Well, this is a local government election, and local government elections are about basic service delivery. It's about whether when you open your tap, water will come out, whether you'll have electricity. You can put an end to load shedding. Today, you have the power to put an end to corruption, an end to load shedding, an end to lack of service delivery, an end to economic decline and unemployment. Today, the power is in your hand, and this is the only day when you have the power that you have. You'll get it again after 5 years. Think about it. What kind of life do you want to live for the next 5 years? The Democratic Alliance has been proven by Ratings Africa, Stats SA, the Auditor General, to be the only party that knows how to govern. Where we govern well. We want to bring that offer to the city of Johannesburg, to Tshwane, to Ekurhuleni. Please just get up and make that decision.
Dr. Mpho Phalatse there giving an impassioned plea for you to stand up now to go and vote if you haven't already done so. She hopes to be mayor in a few days. Faith, back to you.
Thanks very much for that, JJ Tabana, just giving us some insight on terms of some of those political party leaders that are putting in their final push so that you can cast your vote. Remember this, the power is in your pen right now. Bradan, I think that you've heard it from the National Results Operations Center here. As the story develops, as we have more political party leaders, as well as we've got more developing news, we're definitely going to be giving you first account from Tshwane.
Thank you very much, Faith Mangope.